Currently, there are two main types of hypersonic missiles. The first is the boost glide type, which is rocket boosted to high altitude and then glides and maneuvers to strike the target. Examples include China's DF-17 and YJ-21, and Russia's Kinzhal, as well as the glide vehicle Japan plans to deploy in 2026, and the US Dark Eagle and Black Tomahawk, among others. The second type is the air-breathing cruise missile, which uses a scramjet engine. These missiles have a relatively flat flight trajectory and cruise using their own fuel to find targets. For example, Russia's Zircon, etc. The US has been testing scramjet engines since as early as 2004. But so far, there is no news on whether it was successful. Both types of missiles have average speeds exceeding Mach 5 and can perform three-dimensional maneuvers. This makes them difficult for conventional anti-missile defense systems to intercept effectively. For instance, Iran used the Fateh-2 hypersonic missile to penetrate Israel's three-layer defense system. This included the most advanced sea-based Iron Dome (Sea-Dome) defense system. So-called hypersonic capability is not just about speed. In fact, they are slower than traditional ballistic re-entry vehicles. Ballistic missile warheads typically exceed Mach 25, but their greater maneuverability and lower flight trajectory make them harder to track and predict. This is the distinguishing feature of this type of missile. China's Dongfeng 17, DF-17, is a typical representative of hypersonic missiles. The DF-17 was developed from an improved DF-16 missile. It is a boost-glide hypersonic missile, utilizing two-stage solid-fuel propulsion. It is approximately 11 meters long and weighs about 15 tons. It has a range of between 1,800 and 2,500 kilometers. The entire course follows a near-space gliding ballistic trajectory. The DF-17 can carry both conventional munitions and nuclear warheads. It also has extremely high precision, with its landing point deviating from the target by only a few meters. The DF-17 was developed by the China Timing Institute. This institute is also known as the Near Space Vehicle Research Institute. It is under the First Research Institute of China Aerospace Science and Industry Corporation (CASIC). In 2014, the United States confirmed the existence of the DF-17, designating it as Wu-14. The early designation for the DF-17 was DFCF. From January 2014 to November 2017, China conducted at least 9 flight tests of the DF-17 missile. The test site was the Taiyuan Satellite Launch Center in Shaanxi Province. Its key component is the Wu-14 hypersonic glide vehicle. When the vehicle descends from high altitude due to gravity and punches into the atmosphere, the air beneath it is compressed, forming a shockwave. The vehicle is subjected to the reactive force from the shockwave while also being propelled by its engines, causing it to surge upward or drift horizontally. This results in the vehicle gliding at high speed within the atmosphere, moving up and down, left and right. First, let's look at common missile flight trajectories. The first type is the intercontinental ballistic missile, ICBM, such as China's DF-41, the US Minuteman III, and Russia's Topol-M. These strategic weapons typically use multi-stage boosters. The trajectory is a standard parabola, making its path relatively easy to predict. Even with lower-tier interceptor missiles, kinetic impact or blast fragmentation interception is possible. The second type is the Stinger trajectory. This trajectory is akin to a vehicle skipping across the edge of the atmosphere. However, this trajectory was only employed by Germany during World War II. Due to their defeat, this technology was not used in actual combat. The third type is the Qian-Shuesan trajectory. After the missile ascends, the warhead separates and enters the atmosphere. It glides within the atmosphere using the reactive forces of gravity and shock waves. However, the DF-17 does not adopt any of the exoatmospheric ballistic trajectories mentioned above. The booster separates before reaching the apogee. At this point, the Wave Rider uses its inertia to ascend to the apogee but does not leave the atmosphere. At approximately 60 kilometers, it begins gliding at a speed of Mach 10. Upon reaching 1400 kilometers, its speed drops to Mach 4. Then its engine ignites to briefly replenish speed, and when it reaches 1700 kilometers, it still maintains a relatively high speed. Due to the unique shape of the Wave Rider warhead, during its high-speed movement, it possesses excellent maneuverability both longitudinally and laterally. The cylindrical protrusion at the rear of the warhead is offset from the forward center of mass. This allows it to generate significant torque longitudinally, enabling the carrier body to pitch up or down with ease. The broad, thick edges are the main points where shockwaves exert force. This gives the warhead sufficient torque to initiate lateral movement or perform rolls. Since China long ago solved the blackout problem caused by hypersonic ionization of air, the DF-17 can utilize reconnaissance or communication satellites and drones for relayed communication throughout its entire flight. It can adjust its trajectory and perform evasion maneuvers at any time. As it approaches the target, the warhead's active search radar activates. It strikes the target at a low, flat angle. Since existing anti-missile systems are mainly effective against targets with fixed ballistic trajectories, and considering the DF-17 possesses terminal maneuverability, as of now, anti-missile systems are essentially powerless against hypersonic targets.